let's talk about Joe Rogan and the USSR
Wall
collapse.
came down. We were so relaxed. It was amazing.
Wait. Take me back to this. So there's a time.
See, when I was in high school,
Yeah.
okay, in the 1980s, I was a freshman in 1981, and back then we were terrified of war with Russia. It was a terrifying fear of a nuclear war with the Soviet Union.
And break this down to me. So it's like, is it you're watching the news and is there like fear mongering? Do you believe it? Does it feel less propagandist?
100% there was fear mongering. Look, it's always been, if it bleeds, it leads in the news. Yeah. You know, we talk about how bad the news is today, but the reality is, like 5 o'clock news, when you get home from work, it was always the worst shit that happened. Double homicide in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
It's always the worst shit of the day. And also out of perspective, because it's the worst shit out of millions and millions of people, right? But the big one was always Russia. And you would see the Soviet Union, and, you know, you would see their leaders, and you would see their army, and it was terrifying.
Yeah.
They were the last great communist empire,
Yeah.
you know, before China, right?
Yeah.
Before China really blew up militarily.
Yeah.
Back then, we weren't worried about China. Everybody was worried about the Soviet Union.
You felt fear as a youth.
100%.
Dude, what the fuck? Did he just say everything that you saw in the news was terrifying fear-mongering tactics against the USSR while simultaneously being terrified of China? Like, dude, this is like Ethan talking to the fucking kid about gay people choosing to be gay. It's like, brother, you arrived at the point. It's in front of you. Like, you can't, like, the dots are basically connected. Like, they're literally touching one another. You just got to do a little bit of a push.
I talked to my wife, and she's younger than me, and she felt the same thing. And some of my other friends, I asked them, they grew up in different parts of the country, and they were like, oh, yeah, everyone was scared of the fucking Russians, man. Like, there was all those movies like Red Dawn where the Russians invade, we kick their fucking ass, send them back home.
Yeah.
You know, that was what everybody was afraid of. And then the wall fell. And so when the wall fell and the Soviet Union collapsed, we have to realize, like, that was a monumental change in the world.
Yeah.
People relaxed.
Yeah.
Like, we relaxed. I was like, thank God, there's no more war anymore.
So what year is this?
What year was the collapse of the wall? What year did they blow? I want to say 89, 90.
So then the 90s comes on, and then
What year was it, Jamie? 89.
Okay, so 90s.
So the 90s come along, and no one's worried about war anymore.
Yes. Is there a cultural apathy? Because
Well,
the
there's a lot of
90s.
bad things were made in the 90s. Some of the worst American cars that have ever existed were made during the 90s. We got real sloppy in the 90s. I look at, like, one of the things I look about with America, like how in tune America is what's their
the
cars
automobiles?
like? What's their cars like?
So Space Race produces some of the most beautiful cars ever.
Space race and psychedelic drugs.
So Space Race
There's a
is what?
direct correlation
60s?
between yes.
So you have all the cars that are coming out.
50s too.
50s, 60s.
Because 63 was when Kennedy says we want to put the first man on the moon.
So they're using all that crazy.
Wait, objectively, today is probably the greatest for American vehicle manufacturing. Am I wrong? I thought there was never in the history of the United States of America have they ever actually, one, when the cars were first created, obviously, but like literally everyone. Okay, this is the worst audience to ask this because you guys are all American, and I feel like you're gonna say, "Oh no, dude, you're fucking wrong. Fuck you." But like globally speaking, most people clown on American vehicles. The joke is that American manufacturing is dog shit, and that like all the helmet wearers are working in the factory, so everything is all sorts of busted. Like that's what the international community's perspective is on American-made vehicles in comparison to like literally German machinery, even, which also has faults of its own, or Japanese vehicles, especially so. Yeah, fix or repair daily equals Ford. Yeah, Ford, fix or repair daily. International community equals Turks? No, I'm not even talking about fucking Turkish people. Turkish people love America. I thought Americans clown on American-made cars even. Ford, found on the road, dead. I mean, there's still memes about Mustangs, dude. That's a nice looking telephone pole. Be ashamed if someone wrapped a Mustang around it type shit. You know what I mean? Helmet wearers, LMFAO, bro, just call me R-worded. I mean, that was like what the joke was. Yes, they would say that like American workers. Yes, that is the joke. That's what they would. I'm not saying I'm saying that. I was too young. I don't give a fuck. I didn't understand it, but that's what I heard when I was younger. I'm pretty sure, like, obviously design-wise, like, it's pretty dog shit now. Every car looks the same. You know, capitalism fosters innovation. You already know that. But as far as, like, and I'm not talking about, like, aesthetic design. As far as, like, quality builds, American vehicle manufacturing has, like, genuinely improved its quality. It's probably the best quality that you know, it's the most like internationally competitive levels of quality building now than ever before. Yeah, especially Tesla. No, bitch. Tesla is actually the exception, not the rule, okay? No, I'm just pre-99 Ford. The UK with the rust buckets, when the discontinued Escort swapped it for the Focus, his quality went up 10x. Best manufacturing decade for U.S. cars was 1925 to 1935. What? Okay. Yeah. I already accounted for like like originally when the combustion engine vehicle was developed, yes. When there wasn't a lot of competition.
Space influence or like spaceship influence on the cars, and there's no restrictions, right?
Not much space influence, really.
I mean, some of these big, like, what is it, the big Cadillacs and stuff like that, they look like a fucking spaceship,
they do,
right?
Yeah, the old ones.
And there was no restrictions, right? Like, you didn't have to go, okay, it has to have this much gas mileage.
Right,
or
none of that.
You could
no
just
airbags.
make whatever the fuck you wanted to make. And then, okay, so that goes away, and then psychedelics are 70s.
Well, psychedelics are 60s.
Oh, yes.
And then in 1970, they passed this sweeping Schedule 1 psychedelic act that makes all those drugs Schedule 1 forbidden drugs.
There is no way he's claiming that like psychedelics played a role in like American vehicle design, right? Am I crazy? There's no shot. What? How did he get the psychedelics from, like, he got the USSR collapse, the fucking, America making the best cars back in the day, to, like, psychedelics playing a role? Where is this convo going, dude? That's awesome. I mean, this is, like, closer to fucking, I'll admit, this is closer to, like, old Joe Rogan than new Joe Rogan, so I'll take it. Like, actually, you know what I mean? At least he's not like talking about how Ron DeSantis is going to like eliminate gay books and make it illegal to have kitty litter at fucking schools, and that there won't be any top of the hour ad breaks any longer. You know what I mean? Because at the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. And if you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe, which you could do for $5 or for free with the Twitch Prime, by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, or by getting gifted a sub if you're lucky. Tink, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Allowing 5 people to no longer see the ads. Here's the 3-minute ad break now.
All the drugs that are non-toxic, like psilocybin, like things that your body makes, like dimethyltryptamine,
lemon jello,
all those things become
DMT.
Yeah,
thank you for the 5 gifted subs.
Schedule 1, and then automobile
I gotta
design
pee.
drops off a fucking cliff. I mean, drops off a cliff. It's not totally. I mean, there's a correlation. It's maybe not totally the cause, because it coincides with the gas crisis. So there's a gas crisis.
Now you have to consider gas mileage in a car.
Exactly.
That's interesting. That's right. So 70s is what happens? When do we remove the gold standard from the dollar? That's
a good question.
73 or something like that?
This is good tequila, dude. This is yours?
Not bad. Yeah.
What's it called?
Los Sundays.
Dude.
It's good, right?
Tasty.
The repo is crazy.
Yeah, it's very tasty.
Yeah.
I was prepared for some fucking antifreeze.
No.
That's good.
They're legit. But yeah, and then we get, what is it? There's the whole like petrodollar thing that comes on after that where they have to.
I'm not aware of all that stuff. I'm not good at that stuff.
I think this is just where we make the deal where it's like oil has to be sold in U.S. dollars. And now we have a backing for the dollar when for a while we didn't, right? When we removed that gold standard. Who was it? Nixon that removed the gold standard? 71. But and now we're in that situation right now where most oil is sold in U.S. dollars, and then those countries that decide not to, if we're going to get conspiratorial, those people who have decided maybe they won't sell it, in U.S. dollars, they have difficulty staying in power.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.